News Radio 700 WLW.
Jace, having moved, downsized now into a condo, the homeowners thing, it doesn't hit me nearly as hard. Mm-hmm. But you live in a house.
Yes, I do.
And what's going on as far as your insurance rates go?
Going up, up, up. And I'm like, nothing happened here. What's going on?
Right.
I didn't have a fire or any accident or any issues in my house. What the heck?
So it just kind of is creeping up. But that's the thing. Before we moved, I mean, obviously mine was going up, but we had our guest on a while back talking about, do you really need homeowners insurance? Well, I had a situation where, it was a couple of years ago, but during a big storm, a giant tree fell on it destroyed my deck, and it poked a little hole in the roof, and it tore the gutters off. And so that came in damn handy. But, man, if nothing happens, you're just living in your house, and all of a sudden they're jacking and jacking and jacking. How far can it go, man?
That's what's frustrating about it. I mean, I understand, you had something happen, and, but that's not what's happening.
Well, let's get a guy who can speak to this matter. He is the CEO of National Claims and Negotiators. They are a public adjusting firm based out of Dallas-Fort Worth with the license. They got licenses everywhere. Ron Stouffer, welcome back to the program.
Thanks for having me on again, guys.
So Ron, what can obviously you can speak to this. My friend over here, and nothing's happened. He hasn't had a fire. He hasn't had a tree fall on his house or whatnot. But his insurance rates are going up. And are we paying for the hurricanes that came through the South?
Well, kind of, sort of. When materials go up because of supply and demand, because you got to rebuild Florida or Texas or something like that, the rest of the nation is going to suffer too, because if you can't get lumber to build a house, it's going to be more expensive in Ohio also. Your labor shortage is also shorter there, because if they're rebuilding the southern states from hurricanes and tornadoes and so forth, your labor moves to those areas where the demand is high, where they can make more money. And so what ends up happening is other states are going to have higher premiums because just construction costs go up.
That blows me away to think, why wouldn't the cost just go up in that general region or that state? Or it's obviously, we don't have hurricanes here in Ohio, so why do I have to pay for that?
It's not a matter of you paying for it, but it's a matter of if a 2x4 in Ohio was $2 and now they're $8 in Florida, and the guy that's selling 2x4s in Ohio is going to send as many of them as he can to Florida, and now there's a shortage in Ohio. And so now his price is $8 2x4 also. So as costs go up for construction, so does the price
I understand
to rebuild it.
Yeah, and Ron, is it a matter of if, like you're saying, the price difference, a 2x4 for that example, Florida v. Ohio, even if they're not sending all their inventory down there, well, the guy in Ohio might go, well, hell, they're selling them for $8 a piece down in Florida. I'll sell them for $7, and I look like a hero because I'm offering a discount. Right?
Yeah, that's exactly the case. It's law, supply, and demand. If the people that are making the 2x4s can make more money in Florida, why would they send them to Ohio? And then you end up with a shortage in Ohio, and now you want to build something, and you have to pay for what's available.
Ron, is this, again, knowing some of this has to do with natural disasters, and obviously natural disasters, hurricanes, tornadoes, will continue to happen until the end of time. But is this generally going to be a short-term thing? I mean, I know we can't predict if there's going to be 10 hurricanes next year or whatever, but is the market indicating okay, this is going to level off at some point here, or do you think this is going to keep going up?
Well, now you're starting to get political on me because
sorry, I wasn't meaning to do that. I'm just worried about my pocketbook, man.
Inflation's gone through the roof, as I'm sure you guys are aware, and there are things that can be done that aren't being done to make Americans not have to pay as much for costs for construction and so forth. But until we get our inflation under control, we're going to have issues.
And what about, when does this extend to cars and stuff, Ron? Because just talking to people who live in Florida, obviously they have real bad homeowners situations. But from my understanding, even the car insurance down in Florida is through the roof.
Oh, yeah. Insurance, period, in Florida is through the roof. And that's because of what you have down there. It's not just a house that's going to get bulldozed by a hurricane, a house or a car's going to get flooded out or destroyed, or a tree's going to fall on it from that same hurricane. Makes it more expensive to insure in those states, because the likelihood of it getting flooded out is pretty high every couple of years.
You know, Ron, every once in a while I'll go through, every once 3-4 years, I'll go do kind of an audit of my own budget, and I'll look at my insurance, car, home, all that stuff. And now, really everything, like you mentioned, inflation and everything's going up. So it's $2 here, it's $5 there, it's 50 cents there. And next thing you know, you're spending a significant amount of money for utilities or whatever else on your budget every month. Any tips in terms of, hey, my home insurance is going up? Is there anything, hey, you can go in there and look at and you can tweak something and maybe be okay if you tweak that? Yeah, or like any tips on that stuff?
So you should always look at what your coverage is and shop around each year. A lot of carriers will allow you to bundle your home and auto, which will give you a reduction on premiums. If you secure your house better by putting deadbolts on and putting up security cameras and so forth, you could save on your premiums also. Okay. And it's little things like that add up. But I mean, I was just pulled it up. The average increase for Ohio was $679 in the last year for homeowners insurance, which is pretty high.
Yeah, it is.
If you're under that margin, you did good.
Yeah, because we had some tornado damage done around here and stuff, and that's always a danger around this area. Obviously all through the Midwest. But man, where does it, Ron? In your opinion, where does it stop, or does it stop?
I mean, depending on where you are in the country, it will depend on what kind of disasters you have. Right now in Iowa and Nebraska, they have 100-year-plus flooding that's going on up there, destroying small little towns that have never flooded in over 100 years. And now the rivers have come over the banks and wiped away small towns. So it doesn't matter what part of the country you're in, you may end up with some kind of natural disaster from tornado, fire, flood, hurricane. New Mexico this year had fires, wildfires, and mudslides. Destroyed a little town called Ruidoso. That's a beautiful little mountain town, but much of it's not there anymore.
Well, what about California? Trying to insure against an earthquake, because that's one of those things that, hey, look, a hurricane may or may not hit you. A tornado may or may not hit you. Chances are pretty good that it's not going to. But sooner or later, a major earthquake is going to hit California. So I can't even imagine what those homeowners insurance policies are out there.
Well, you got to look at also the big three out there. Allstate, Farmers, and State Farm have pulled out of California, not for earthquakes, but because of the wildfires. They say they can't compete in that market because wildfires are so rampant in California. I mean, they don't do a good job of deforesting. When a tree falls, they just leave it versus going in there, harvesting out, and so you don't have that timber and brush on the ground. Well, when they leave it, it's just a natural, when it dries up, it's just a natural kindling, and fires run rapid in California. So those big three have already left the state.
That's
wow.
They won't insure in that state.
That's insane.
Which makes it even probably more expensive, right? Because fewer competitors.
And fewer competitors makes the price go up. I mean,
I'm just appreciative that I live in
insurance
Ohio.
companies. Yeah, insurance companies are in the business to make money, and that's why, like in Florida, a ton of them have gone out of business and left the state and aren't insuring in those states anymore because it costs them too much to be there.
Insane. Ron, with that, we're going to let you go. Man, we really appreciate you talking to us. Thanks so much.
Thank you, guys.